Hello, today I will be attempting at my best possible ability to draw a willow tree as a vessel for this message. As this goes on, I will hopefully get better at drawing. And I think pencil drawings are so cool, especially the shading that people do. But anyways, willow trees. Willow trees are very beautiful. They're very elegant. Their leaves, their branches, they kind of sway in the wind, and it's just such a calming picture to look at. Very beautiful. And I recommend everybody go out and touch trees, willow trees. Trees in general, they take your bad energy, especially willow trees. Um, Birch trees can give you good energy, or they give you energy. The earth cleanses you, and I think it is very good for everybody. Today I want to talk about traumatized mothers and how that can deeply affect you in your view on life. I haven't seen many people talk about this, so I think maybe this will hopefully help someone, because it definitely would have helped me. When my mom and I started to fight a lot, I would get very angry with her. I couldn't understand, or I couldn't fathom on why she would treat me the way she does, and why she would say such hurtful things to me. Not that I was a perfect child, but I wasn't bad. I stayed home. I didn't do much. I had my things. I read books. That's about it. I helped her. At the end of the day, without saying every detail, I was her only person. But besides the point, I would get very angry at her, and I would ask the universe, why would she treat me like this? What did I do to deserve this? And I started to dig a little deeper, and then I remembered every story that she told me, everything that has happened in her lifetime. And I would also be angry if I didn't if I was her. I can see why she's angry. I've put myself into her shoes. I've put myself in her life events, and I was able to see life from her perspective and how that would genuinely affect me and my mental health. Obviously, I probably wouldn't know what to do in those moments, but I know that it would be very traumatizing. And taking into account the time and the culture that she grew up in, everything kind of combined together into this bomb of explosions, and it just isn't pretty. Not that our relationship is bad. It's just that now I am more accepting and forgiving of her than I was before. I don't get mad at her when she gets mad at me. I might still not understand where she's coming from, but I don't judge her for it. And I think that is very important, especially there's obviously circumstances where a mother does horrendous stuff and you could not forgive her for that. But sometimes you really cannot change a person, and you just have to accept your accept them for who they are, and try to love them and show them love to the best of your abilities. Um, Sometimes when my mom and I argue, I feel like it's not my mom arguing with me. It's a completely different entity inside of her that is there arguing with me. Because I do not recognize her tone of voice, I do not recognize her speech. And sometimes it's scary because when it's good and when it's peaceful, we can have a normal conversation and I remember her tone. But when she gets angry at me for no reason, it's like a completely different person. Like we're in a different dimension, and my mother was switched. Well, yeah. Maybe this doesn't make sense, and this is probably not as long as I wanted it to be. But I hope maybe this will help someone because it's not your fault that she's treating you the way she's treating you, and that the hurtful things do hurt, and they do sting, and they will. You will never forget the words that she tells you. But the only thing at the end of the day that you can do is promise yourself that either you won't act like that to your kids or that you will work on yourself. And you will just have to accept her at the end of the day. Whether it's minimizing contact, completely cutting them off, or you will just have to peacefully internally deal with the way she is. And at first, when I came to that realization, I was about 13. Yeah, and it really hurt me. I couldn't accept her being the way she is because of the way she hurt me, and she didn't really used to put me first when she was my world. She was the only person that I could rely on and go to, and she would betray me so many times. Mentally, and it takes such a toll on an oldest daughter. And I'm glad that I went through the life experiences that I've been through to understand and process my emotions and my feelings in a way that don't harm others. I think that was a good way to put it. I hope. Please let me know if this didn't make sense, because I will write out what's in my notes. I feel like some of the things that helped me overcome this was journaling. I would journal everything that was ever said, done, and I would keep it or either burn it or whatever you would feel like. And I know that some people's minds race a little too fast for journaling, so I would really recommend voice app, notes app. Maybe you type faster than you write. But with writing, I found that since my brain thinks 24/7, or at least for 20 hours of the day, I found that writing it out and breathing a little bit slows down my brain. Same as like a hot, steamy shower would. And I'm able to write and think more clearly about what I'm putting down on the paper. So some people, or honestly talking to like the universe out loud, I talk out loud all the time, and that relieves my constant thinking. I always talk to myself when I'm on a walk. I think that is the greatest use of time that I could have ever came up with. And you get to be either you're on a treadmill or you're in nature, especially nature. Works really well for me. I get out every single emotion and it kind of like digs a little deeper. But yeah, and I've also been very sad that I haven't been able to share everything with my mom recently or at all. I just kind of keep things to myself because I know she will say stuff that she doesn't approve with me and give me a lecture on why I'm making a dumb decision. At times, I feel like she doesn't fully believe in me, and that really hurts. It used to hurt, it doesn't anymore. I think I've accepted it. I do believe in myself, and I am the only person that believes in myself because I know that I'm so delusional that I know that I will accomplish everything that I've set my goals to. I think delusion is key to this, to winning in life. Let me know what you think. But yeah, like talking to my mom, I've learned to stay clear of some topics. Some topics I don't even bring up. I make up stories at times because I don't feel comfortable sharing with her. And what really hurt me the most is something that this this I could not comprehend for a long time. Why she would dismiss my feelings. She would dismiss my feelings and she wouldn't deem them as important. But when she would feel the same feelings as I did, I was the only person to comfort her, to offer her help and support. And I was a very empathetic child. I always felt bad. I always felt like things were my fault because they were told. I was told that they were my fault. And growing up, I realized they weren't. And I think I was just taken advantage of in my emotions. And it's not cool. Like, I wouldn't really want to bring that upon my child. I still have quite a lot of healing to do, but I think it's important to recognize the patterns in your family cycle and not repeat them. I don't want another traumatized generation talking about this. But it's sad. It's very sad and very lonely when the only person that you looked up to doesn't feel the same about you as you do about them. And this can obviously go for any parent, any friend, close friend, relative, you can fit the narrative. But there's also circumstances where forgiveness and acceptance is not an option. And the only way you can deal with it is letting them go. Like never talking to them again, even if it's a mother or father. Some circumstances aren't worthy of forgiveness. So use your best judgment, and I'm sure life will turn out amazing. I do still, if I could meet my mom, if I could go back in time and meet my parents before they've conceived me, I would tell them to not have me, to not have children, and go heal. But, all jokes aside, I feel like that is very important that people don't take seriously is healing well, I don't think you ever truly heal. You just kind of learn to deal with the pain and to deal with the circumstances and the cards you've been dealt with in the past. And knowing how to handle those cards so you don't hurt the people around you is very important. I am very thankful for the person that I am, even though I can be irrational and mean sometimes. I'm also very understanding and empathetic. I hope this doesn't come off as bad, but I think that everybody should get to know themselves before they have children, to truly know whether they're having children out of out of the normal, out of the norm. That doesn't make sense. Whether they're having children to because that's what society expects of them. This isn't what society expects from you. Generally, yes, but why would you want to traumatize your child because you just needed to have children? It doesn't make sense to me. If you're mentally incapable of being nice to your child, being your child's support system, and showing them the type of person they need for their life. You need to be the best support system in the world. Nobody can top a parent, father and mother. And it hurts to see. Sometimes I work as I work a pretty decent customer service job, and I get to meet a lot of people, parents with children, and sometimes there's these parents that come with children and it breaks my heart because I can tell they're not good parents. Yes, they might materially, they might physically take care of the child, and they come to events and whatever, but mentally they don't. The child is traumatized and at times distraught. And then there was this one. This is the only time been I've been so surprised at how these parents raised their children. The children were so polite. You can tell that the children were mentally healthy. They had a very good support system, and I think that really broke me. That that broke me and healed me at the same time. A piece of my heart, knowing that there's children out there that have really good support systems. Because no matter the circumstance, the place where you were born, you deserve to be loved by your parents, by the people around you. Because the world is too cruel to children. And I don't understand why. They're the most vulnerable beings on this planet, and we should be doing everything in our power to help them. I see videos of children all around the world that aren't as I would consider myself lucky to have a mom and a dad that are one alive, two don't beat me, and they're both very mentally draining, and I would say it's more of an emotional abuse, but I don't understand why the world is so cruel to children. This is something that it's very hard to accept once you once you know yourself and you start noticing patterns in the world. Some things are harder to accept than others. I hope whatever I'm blabbing on about does actually make sense. So bear with me. um I do get slightly jealous of people who have good parents. Well, I used to get jealous of them. Now I'm really happy to see people with good parents and good support systems because you know that the parents did their job and they raise emotionally intelligent children. I think that emotional intelligence should be taught in schools or even by parents because it's a very important skill to have in life. You know, um, I don't think anything can break you down once you have emotional intelligence, and it's just a very nice quality to have or to notice people have. To summarize, what I'm trying to say is don't don't beat yourself up over others people's mistakes because you have such a beautiful life to live. You should be grateful for every day you spend on this planet. The sun, the food. You need to be grateful to be alive, and sometimes that is hard. I can agree with that. But it takes overcoming and working on yourself, evolving your mind to really accept that you are blessed as you are, and everything will come to you on a frequency and vibration that you're on. You are your thoughts. You're not your thoughts, but you know what I mean. You create your own reality, and some things are meant to be let go of, and they're meant to be forgotten. Some people you should forgive if you can see where they're coming from. You don't have to forgive them. You really don't have to forgive anyone, but you should at least acknowledge them and give them distance. Give yourself distance. And I hope this helps somewhere out there, and I promise by the next video I will have something written down that will help this process go a lot smoother because I feel this is very hard to do. The voiceover thing, not fun. I wish I could just stick a microphone in my head and then play it from over there. That would be so much easier. And excuse the willow tree. This I did have a reference photo. This was just as this goes on, I will get a lot better because this is such a cool school skill to have, like the pencil drawings. Very cool. Well, I hope you guys had fun time listening to me. I definitely had a fun time making this. This is my first video, and I hope you guys like it. Let me know what other topics to talk about and whether this helped you or not.